Welcome to Take It from the Iron Woman. My name is Susanne Müller, your host and the Iron Woman. This podcast is about empowering yourself and others to make real changes in the world. You will hear from everyday, smart, sophisticated, hip people like you and me. Not everybody has to be an Iron Woman to impress the world. Together, we will learn from the sports and business leaders how you can become a more successful person as an entrepreneur or a leader. It's one step at a time, one day at a time. Take your steps now. Take your big steps now. Join me on this journey to success. Take it from the Iron Woman. We have spoken to Tara before. She's in Canada. Listen to her story. Listen to her superpower. Thank you so much, Tara, for sharing your secrets, sharing your superpower.
Like, what are you talking about? That was nothing.
Yeah.
That's a sign. That's your secret sauce.
I just wanted to ask you, what is your superpower? But I think we answered that question. What do you think your superpower is? How can we get more of this superpower?
Now, I have this on good source. It's going to sound not egotistical. Even my friends, like, God, you're incredible. I can read people so well. I think that is partly why it makes me a really good facilitator, is to see body language, hear the words, but understand what's behind them, right? Being able to, okay, here's a great example. I was leading a lessons learned review for a major project. Had a participant who was so grumpy, like, holy cow, he did not want to be there. And anything I said, he was like the snarly dog in the back of the room. Like, there was nothing wrong. It was perfect. I don't know why we're here. This is a waste of my time. And, you try to laugh it off and, okay, whoa, he's really, something's going on with him. Okay, cool. This isn't me. It's not about me. He's not pissed at me for anything. Mm-hmm. I flipped it because he was very negative. Like, the world was a dark place for him at this day. I don't know if he was always like that, because there's people like that. But I said to him, when we started trying to list out issues folks had in their experience of this project, and he's like, I didn't have that. And I said, you know what? I'm really glad you're here. Like, thank you for being here and taking this time, because we need you. Because as we flesh out where other folks experience frustrations on this project, we're going to take those and try to come up with solutions for the next project. They don't have the same experience. When we get to that part, because you didn't have the same experience, I want to know what worked for you. I'm going to look to you. We need you here to help us make sure we have the experience you had next time. And he's like, oh, wow. Okay, I'm in, right?
You just turned it around. If you have a grumpy person in the room, you think like, holy moly, how do I turn this guy around? But then appreciating what his grumpiness brings into the room.
Give it purpose. Yeah. Rather than trying to convince them we're just playing along or anything. No. Okay, I get it. This is where you are today. Cool. We'll use it.
In the cut or the change management, it's like the naysayer or the gatekeepers. These are actually important people for us, because if we don't listen to them, you might miss something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm an engineer by background, full disclosure. I remember I had one engineer I worked with. We were both facilities engineers, and he was our black hat in every meeting room. Like, you'd be sitting there and trying to hash out a problem. You're like, that's not going to work. And you can't do it that way. Blah, blah, blah. Like, that was just him. That's just him. You could tell him it's beautiful outside. He goes, look at that cloud over there on the horizon. Right? Like, he's just that guy. People would always roll their eyes at him or give him a hard time. And I still remember running into him in the hallway one day. He's like, I know. People say I'm all negative. I'm not being negative. I'm a realist. And I remember, Michael, don't ever change. Don't ever change. We need people like you, because it is so easy to get into groupthink and to get excited about something. You are our reality check. Thank you. Don't ever change. He's like, oh, cool. And I'm like, yeah, no, it's cool, buddy. Right? Like, I get it.
I mean, like, that's what you hear, right? If everybody's thinking outside of the box, if everybody's positive, where do you get? You need those people who are saying, no, this might not work. Guys, this is wrong. And then this is your reality check. Exactly.
Yeah. I always get them to flip it though. I'm like, okay, you're putting a roadblock in front of me. And then we're going to change the question to, okay, we can't do this because, okay, well, how can we then? How can we rewrite that regulation, or how might we change the equipment we're choosing, or how might we, like, what do we got to do? Right? I get it. It's there. It's real. And I'm not saying we can't ignore it, but you got to tell me now. How do I get around it? How do I avoid it?
You put the problem in an opportunity rather than looking at the negative things. Yeah.
Yeah. It has to become a challenge. Oh, so let's pick a startup. We want to sign up 100,000 new clients, users on our app by the end of the year. Well, we can't do that because we need advertising. Cool. How do we get advertising? Oh, well, you need a bajillion-dollar budget. Okay. How do we get money? Well, you have to attract investors. Okay. How do we attract investors? Yeah. Keep going. Right. I'm not going to stop until you give me a plan.
And then you make the plan with the customers. That's exactly, it's one step at a time, one day at a time. That's what I always say. But you have to spill it out. And especially when you have the example of one partner thinks left, the other one thinks right. How can we come together? And then when the partners are aligned, then you can align the team and the customers. And
one of the things I love about, especially if you're doing it in a workshop setting, is you create those posters, those archives, those visual reminders. Oh, remember when we were in that workshop together? We talked this all through and we came up with this statement for our company purpose. Remember when you're trying to decide, or you're engaging, wait a minute, am I getting outside? Is it going against what we said we're here for?
How did you do that in the pandemic? Obviously, we met when the pandemic just started, right? In the Alt MBA. And you said you use Miro, and so it's everything by Zoom?
Yeah, and Zoom. I love Miro. Only because when you were doing this in person, you have like the whiteboard's full of stuff. You got stickies everywhere, and you try to take photos of it to archive the work that you've done. But now it's static. I love that we can do this in Miro. And now I can take it and quickly convert it into a document and email it to the client and go, look at what you did. Look at all the things your team came together and created. It's about the time together. It's about creating that alignment, having those conversations, right? And having that plan to go forward. Because that was my other intention when it comes to any of my workshops, is when you are done, you're not done.
No, that's when the work starts.
You're not done, right? Yeah. You have tools to take with you to keep going, right? Because we've all been there. You go to workshops, you go to fancy stuff, and you're super excited and you're jazzed, and you're back to the office and the coffee room is great. And within a day or two or a week, you're right back to the daily grind.
Exactly. And that's why we need you. And what I like is that you're so positive about the Zoom and the Miro, because again, you turn it around, right? Before we were in rooms and we had the sticky notes and the colors, and then you had to transfer it, which is even more work. But now you have it instantaneously. It's electronic. It's there. I have one more, or obviously a few more questions.
Of course.
What is the future like? So now you're Zoom, Miro. What do you see?
I'm loving the Miro because then, well, I can, do a workshop for anybody anywhere. Yeah, we're not constrained by geography. No, in all fairness, you miss that vibe and that energy of being in a room together. Yeah. That part is hard to mimic on a virtual world. We all know that was a trade-off. But so for what's next, I just got approached about, how can we turn this strategy sprint, and instead of it being for a strategy, make it a workshop for a project team to create their project charter. I'm like, oh, same principles apply for sure. I'm like, I'm going to have to change some of the exercises. That's fine. And some of the elements of it. So let me play with that. I love having those challenges because it's the Internet of Things. I'm an avid reader. If you come into one of my workshops, and I put references on, this is coming from here, this is coming from there, right? You're hiring me. You could go find all this stuff yourself, but you're hiring me because I know how to keep the group on track. And because I'm the right energy your team needs right now.
Tell us about the book. I love books. What is your favorite book, or what is your go-to book?
My go-to book recently is by Jim Collins. Yeah, they're Beyond Entrepreneurship 2.0. High impact tools for teams.
Okay.
And it's by strategizer Stefano Mastrogiacomo. I'm going to butcher your name, my apologies, and Alex Osterwalder. Suzanne, you will remember them from our business model generation book.
Sure. Yeah.
And our MBA program. Well, they have other books. I have like almost all of them, and they are dog-eared and they are flagged and they are highlighted. Love their stuff.
Love those 2 books. What do you do when you don't work? I mean, like we all know, when you're an entrepreneur, you're always working.
Wow. What don't I do? I have lots of hobbies that tip to the creative side. Like I have to scratch that for me. But that's maybe where workshops, I love them. Okay, just leave me alone for a couple of days and I'll build something cool. I sew most of my own clothes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I sew a lot of pants for my husband and my son. They're both 6'5", so they were like finding pants. Yeah. So we sew them lots of pants. What else do I do? In the summertime, me and a couple of girlfriends, we build bird baths out of concrete using different plant leaves as our molds. And then we do like custom paint jobs on them. What else do I do? Last night, for the very first time, I went and did trap shooting.
What is that?
You know, where they shoot like the little orange disc out and then you have to shoot it with a shotgun.
Okay.
I've never done that before. You'll find that with me. I'm like, I've never done that before. I shall try it. But yeah, my one shoulder is a little sore right now. That's fun.
Sounds like, and it seems like when I was with you in the Alt MBA, it was about fun. It was about energy. It was about forward thinking. I love that energy. Thank you so much. Let's finish on a high note and good luck for your Red Blaze solutions.
I'm excited.
I'm excited for you too. Glad we met and we want to see more. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
How cool was that to talk to Tara, my fellow Alt MBA? It was a cool team. We learned a lot. It's about support. It's about reflection, but it's also about providing feedback. Take it from the Iron Woman. We have episodes every Monday, every Wednesday. Don't miss out. Follow our podcast on your preferred podcast platform. Take it from the Iron Woman started out as a book where you can find my experience from Switzerland to New York to traveling around the world.